Hey everybody, what is going on? Xlex here. Got another Pokemon Pocket video for you. This time I am playing what I affectionately like to refer to as the quote-unquote boyfriends deck. That's in reference to the original Pokemon TCG, the first Nidoqueen's attack, which has a similar effect to this game's Nidoqueen's Love Strike. This is the Nidoqueen Nidoking deck, and you're definitely going to want to stick around for this video because our third game is like the most back and forth intense game I think I've had playing this game yet. So we are going in with 2 Nidoran female, 2 Nidoran male, 2 Nidorino, 2 Nidorina, 2 Nidoqueen, 2 Nidoking, 2 Potion, 2 Pokeball, 2 Professor's Research, 2 Sabrina. I feel like the build here is probably very self-explanatory. We are, of course, looking to use our Nidoqueens in conjunction with the Nidokings to get the 130 damage Love Strike off the Nidoqueen. Very powerful if you can pull it off. But I will say, I'm going to tell you, be honest right off the top, this is not a very good deck. It's a very fun deck. I had a lot of fun playing this deck, and the main reason I built it is because I have 2 full art Nidoqueens and 1 full art Nidoking, not even trying to pull for them, just randomly from packs. So I was like, you know what, there's a way I can build this deck, right? And yeah, while I did have a blast playing it, I would not expect this deck to really be able to keep up with the meta currently. So just want to throw that out there just to make sure that we're all aware of what this deck's power level is. It's a very, very fun deck, but fun level is definitely where I would put it. Now, if you're looking to actually use one of these Pokemon here, if I had to pick one, I think the Nidoking is actually definitely stronger than the Nidoqueen. Nidoqueen for 3 energy can deal 80 damage plus 50 for each benched Nidoking. So you can deal up to 180, but you should expect to deal 130. That's already a difficult enough setup. The Nidoking for 3 energy can deal 90 and guaranteed poison. So that's going to be 100 damage up front with more damage over time. Yeah, our opponent's on some kind of like Vileplume deck. They actually end up playing, well, we'll get to that when it happens, but they're also on the Caterpie line, as you can see, with the Butterfree for heals, which I'm kind of thinking about cooking with in a list here. Yeah, still need that other full art Nidoking, but here I'm kind of weighing my options, debating if I want to build up this Nidorina more or go for the Nidoking. And I am going to evolve into Nidoqueen, but mostly to like heal, quote unquote, so to speak, right? Because I was at 20 HP, threatening to go down, but now I'm up to 80 again. Nidoqueen and Nidoking both have a lot of HP too, especially the Nidoking at 150. But they're both pretty decently sized, honestly. Yeah, I mean, obviously the main issue with this deck is the fact that you need to play 2 Stage 2 evolution lines, which in a 20-card deck is a lot. Oh yeah, this is what I was talking about earlier. They played a Pikachu, and at first I was like, oh yeah, sure, this is a Pikachu variant. But then I was like, wait, no, Pikachu needs electric Pokemon in the bench to be able to do the damage. I don't know if my opponent realized that here, but yeah, you're going to see me playing mostly against similar power level decks. That is to say, decks that aren't super strong, but are probably fun enough in their own right. Yeah, so our Nidoking here is online. I'm just going to let my Nidoqueen go down, yeah, instead of trying to retreat it. That's another kind of thing about this deck, like, the retreat costs are so high on both of these things that even if you had the room to play X speed, it really wouldn't even help you that much. Because you'd be going down for a retreat cost of like 3 to 2, which is still way too much to pay. But yeah, I mean, having 2 Stage 2 evolution lines, that's 12 of your 20 slots eaten up right there. So you can only play, you know, 8 trainer cards. And of course, being 2 Stage 2 lines, it's going to take a while to build them up. And they both need 3 energies to attack. It's just a very slow deck. I mean, again, the payoff is there, and we are going to see the payoff in this video, don't you worry. I think, actually, well, I won't spoil it. But suffice to say, you will see sufficient deck synergies here in all 3 games, if I recall. Yeah, the Poison Jab is a pretty good attack. Again, 3 energy is a lot, but 100 up front for damage over time on a 150 HP body is a pretty good stat spread, honestly. I think it's pretty well balanced. Yeah, Butterfree can heal, but that's not really going to matter at all here. I don't really know why they bothered putting an energy on it. It's definitely just going to... Unless they're retreating it. Okay, they are. Yeah. But they're going into the Pikachu, which is... Well, because see, that's the thing. They haven't rolled electric energy a single time. It almost makes me wonder if Pikachu is just a kind of like a meat shield, basically. Because it's a basic Pokemon that's got 120 HP... and you could heal it with the Butterfree in theory, but what I'm going to do here is just switch in. I have to pay 3 energy to do it, but I get to switch in the Nidoqueen and get the 130 damage Love Strike, and that is going to close out the game. So, as much as I was going on about, yeah, this deck is a lot of build-up and not the most consistent, we actually did pull it off this game, so that was pretty cool. Alright, going into our next one after game 1 there, as soon as we give thanks to our opponent, of course, as always ever. Well, I try to always remember to. Sometimes I do click through it too quickly, but yeah, next opponent's going to be on a Lapras deck. I think they play both regular and EX. Lapras, both forms I think are interesting Pokemon. I don't know that they're particularly great, but they are interesting. Basics with a lot of HP. I mean, the Lapras EX is like... It's just so outclassed by Venusaur EX. I mean, it is a basic. That's the thing, right? It's a basic. But it does just have not enough good payoff. I don't know. Because, like, even if it is a basic, you still need all of the turns of setup attaching energy. Unless you get lucky on a Misty. But that's not something you can bank on every single game. Whereas the Venusaur, it's like... You not only, like, because, you know, the argument is like, oh, a Lapras CX is a basic, you can put it down right away, but again, you need to attach 3 energy, and if you're waiting that long, you can also get into a Sage Shoe relatively consistently, especially if you're on something like Caterpie, which I do want to try, actually, in Venusaur, but... Yeah, so opponent's going to throw out a... That's the non-EX Lapras. It's a regular Lapras they're starting with. Which I actually recently pulled a full art of that, too. The next deck I'm trying to go for is actually a water deck. It's Starmie, because I have one Starmie EX, so I'm kind of saving my Wonder Pick tokens for Starmie EX, if I see one in there. Alright, so we did get both Nidoran males here, but I'm fine just playing them both, and like, well, because you notice I Pokeballed for it. You might think, well, why would you Pokeball for it when you can Nidoran female for the... Nidoran male off call for family. But the idea is that next turn I want to evolve into Nidorina and then start doing damage with Bite anyway. So I might as well do some deck thinning here, right? Yeah, you're going to see a lot of hands like this too, where it's like, oh, I just have all Nidoran evolutions and nothing else. Because again, they just encompass so much of our deck. But this hand's actually not that bad in the grand scheme of things. Especially with the Sabrina. This Sabrina here was so fine. I don't understand the Sabrina. Honestly, I think our opponent definitely should have saved it. And another Nidoran evolution that we drew for turn there. So, yeah, I'm just going to take advantage of the fact that my Nidorina's on the bench now and start building up my Nidoqueen for the 130 Love Strike. You know what? I will say if I could play another trainer card, I don't even think I'd play X-Speed. I think I'd probably just play Giovanni. One copy of Giovanni if I had room for one more trainer card. But you don't. That's the thing. You have to play 2 of each of the evolution line, and it's like, Potion is better than Giovanni. Pokeball is definitely better than Giovanni. So is Research and Sabrina. Like, what else are you going to play, right? I guess there is an argument to go 1 Sabrina, 1 Giovanni. Or actually, I guess there's more of an argument to go 1 Pokeball, 1 Giovanni, because the Nidoran female can already search the Nidoran males. There's even an argument to not play Pokeball at all for that reason, except for hands where you only open Nidoran male. I don't really love that. It's a weird deck to build. I could see taking out 1 Pokeball for 1 Giovanni. I think that might actually even be correct. But yeah, as you can see here, I'm just letting this Nidoran male in the active spot get completely tanked here. Or get completely... It's tanking as I'm setting up here, is more what I meant to say. I'm just going to let it get completely KO'd, is also what I meant to say, so... Yeah, thankfully, no heads on the Misty there. That would have been very scary if it landed multiple heads. Well, they were doing it on the main active Lapras anyway, right? I didn't see what they were targeting, actually. I just kind of assumed it was on EX, but this is perfect timing. We can take out this Lapras with 3 energy on it, with 1 Love Strike. It's not often that you get opponents that just let you set up like this, but we'll definitely take it. Yeah, they'll probably switch it. Oh yeah, they conceded here, that's right. They were just like, nope, I'm done. They did not want to deal with a Nidoqueen coming out for 130 a turn. But that's actually the thing. When you actually get an ideal setup like that, not only does the Nidoqueen come out for 130 a turn, but in the turns you're chipping away at that Nidoqueen, we can build up the Nidoking to start poison jabbing on the crackback. It's very, very good. All right. Giving thanks to our opponent here. And going into this next game here is going to be, like I said, this has to just be the most back and forth game I've played in Pokemon Pocket so far. It's going to be Muck. Well, I put Muck as the feature card. It's technically an Arbok Weezing deck, but they are also playing Muck, which I actually don't hate. I don't hate that. I don't know if it's optimal, but I don't think it's horrible either. Because the Muck plays well off the Weezing's poison, and Koga does apply to Muck too. But, yeah. Anyway, we're starting off with one of each Nidoran. They're starting off with the Coughing. Weezing Muck was actually my first deck. Like, before I looked anything up, as I finished the tutorial and started pulling a few packs, right? I pulled a Koga. I pulled 2 of the full art Weezings were like among my first pulls. So I was like, okay, I'm going to build a Weezing deck for sure. And then I had the Mucks. I pulled 2 Mucks really early. So I was like, yeah, I'll just build a straight up Koga deck. And it's not bad. I mean, Arbok Weezing is better than just straight up Muck Weezing, I think. Not I think, I know. But Muck Weezing is not a bad deck. And like I said, I don't think putting Muck in the Arbok Weezing deck is a bad idea either. Alright, we're going to call for family for the Nidoran here, but our opponents need to evolve both of their Pokemon right off the bat. It's very scary going into that Weezing. Weezing is just such a good Pokemon. I don't even know if I want to call it underrated, because I think people know how good Weezing is. But it's like, it's such a good setup tool. I want to try Weezing in more decks. Yeah, so Weezing's starting off by doing a lot of damage to this Nidoran female. It's not ideal. We do get a Pokeball to find the other Nidoran, though. I think I have 2 Nidorina in hand. I mean, either way, even if I have 1, which I'm pretty sure I do, it's kind of hard to tell just because it's so small there. Yeah, I have 2 Nidorina. So I should definitely evolve my active Nidoran female here. Because we can still deal damage and it'll let it survive a little bit more. I think I was considering retreating it at this point. Oh, I do retreat it. For the fully healed one. I think that was a misplay, honestly. Yeah, that was definitely a misplay. I don't know why I did that. I'm thinking about it more. I should have just evolved the active Nidoran, or Nidorina, into the I should have evolved the active Nidoran female into the Nidorina, used Bite, and then next turn, and then I could have attached the energy to the bench Nidoran female anyway, and then I'd basically be in the same spot that I'm about to be in here, except I'd have a fully healed Nidorina on the bench instead of... Yeah, because that was a huge misplay on my part. I think sequencing is the big thing I need to personally work on when it comes to playing Pokemon Pocket. Again, it's such a simple game, but sequencing like that, it makes all the difference. Because I missed out on 30 damage here for no reason. It's funny, I hear people talk down about Pokemon like it's... I mean, it is a more simple game, but a lot of people conflate that with it being easier. And simple and easier are definitely 2 different things. But simple and clean, now that's the way that you're making me feel tonight. Yeah, there's the Ekans, so they're about to start getting the Arbok. That's when I was like, oh, okay, so Arbok's here too. Okay, so this won't quite KO the Nidorina, right? Yeah, it'll be at 20. It'll actually survive through to their next turn, which is pretty good. But what's not pretty good is our hand right now. It's definitely not ideal. Alright, building up the Nidorino, which I think is a pretty good call here, because we don't know if we're going to top deck Nidoking or Nidoqueen first, so I think we do have to hedge a little bit. Yeah, not great use of the potions here again. Could have played a lot more optimally here, but I'll bite this Wheezing. Yeah, the Wheezing could be at 20. I'm really scared of a Koga here, too. I was just terrified that they were just going to pick up this Wheezing at some point. I thought they were going to do it this turn. And the next turn as well. I'm like, God, I really hope they don't just pick up this Wheezing with Koga. Because I would just lose at that point, honestly. Like, it would just pretty much be game over right then and there. That's the thing, like, that's what makes Wheezing Koga so good, is that gameplay loop by itself can win games in board states. And that's not even the main strategy in pretty much any given deck it's in. That's just the stall setup for whatever else you're doing. Which is just so wild to me, that's so good. Like, I think I'm about to play Wheezing Gengar here, because I played Farfetch'd Mewtwo Gengar to try to get it to be more aggressive, but I think the gameplay loop of Wheezing is just so much better. Okay, so Nidorino is getting in for damage here. I need to stop dwelling on this, but again, we could have KO'd this Wheezing by now. I just got incredibly lucky. Spoiler alert, I think they're about to use Tackle here. Yes, I got incredibly lucky that they did not actually have a Koga here. That was insanely lucky on my part. Yeah. Now, even though I can't take out the Wheezing this turn, this Muck is about to come up, and it's fully ready to go. So what I'm going to actually do here, this is really counterintuitive, but I think this was definitely the right play. I'm going to put energy on the bench Nidoran male. I'm going to swap out the Nidorino, paying the full retreat cost, and then I'm going to evolve it into Nidoking. Because, like, that Nidoking is the first of either King or Queen that I've seen yet, right? And I need these big damage Pokemon to close out the game. So I'd rather give up on my Nidoran male here. Plus the Nidoran male is still capable of KOing the Wheezing. The biggest loss here is losing 2 energy, but I think that's worth it. I think that was worth it. I'm going to put out their next Wheezing here. Which makes sense, actually, because I think going into Muck at this point would be a little bit overkill. Although, actually, they definitely should have gone into Muck, right? Because then they could KO Nidoran male, but they wouldn't be able to take out Nidoking. But it wouldn't matter at that point. I guess it would depend. I would be able to Sabrina, of course. Huh. I think... I guess there's arguments either way. Like, if I don't have anything, then Muck just closes out the game here. Muck is just a threatening clock by itself. But I guess they're playing under the assumption that I do have stuff. Which I do. I have 2 Sabrina, so... That said, I don't think I really want a Sabrina here. Alright, yeah. I want to use Professor's Research this turn for sure. There's another Nidorino and a Nidoking. That's actually not a bad draw at all here. Yeah, because we can just evolve, cure the poison, go back up to 50 HP, and I'm not even going to bother like putting the energy on the Nidorino. Like, the damage I would deal is so negligible compared to what Poison Jab is going to do. Like, Poison Jab threatens so much against our opponent's deck here. Poison Jab can effectively one-shot any R-Box they put out, right? 90 plus the immediate 10 from Poison. And it can also KO Wheezing after our opponent's next turn. 90 up front, 10 Poison on the end of our turn, 10 Poison on the end of their turn. Yeah, so that Nidorino draw... and this Nidoking draw, actually both are very good. Okay, now that I've drawn the Nidoqueen, I think I am going to pivot to Love Striking, because Love Striking will just one-shot anything on the board straight up. But, again, I will evolve my Nidorino to not only cure the poison, but also effectively heal. Back up to 70 HP there, so... yeah, this was actually this game was kind of the opposite of the last one, where in the last game we drew just all of the Nidoran stuff and saw basically no trainers. This one we saw a lot of our trainers up front, and then drew into the Nidoran evolutions over time. They're putting another energy on Wheezing. They must be planning on a retreat. Are they not playing Koga in their deck? It'd be a huge misplay if they weren't. Either that or they're just like the unluckiest player in the world. Yeah, so you'll notice there that I put another energy on Nidoking. I guess it didn't really matter if I put it on Queen or King, but I don't need to have the Nidoqueen fully ready to go right now. This Nidoking is going to sort of, like, the Nidoking that's active is going to block for another turn, right? So we can just put the third energy on next turn, but we could have done it in either order. I don't think it really affects anything here. I don't think it matters. Yeah, they're thinking. Well, because they know that it's pretty inevitable, right? Like either Queen or King coming out. But they do ultimately tackle. Yeah, the Koga's either on the bottom or they're not playing them. But I have to imagine they're on the bottom. You would always play Koga in this deck. Or I guess what I more mean to say is that I don't think you'd try building this deck if you didn't own Kogas. Yeah, we're actually out of cards. Wait, maybe they don't, because we're about to be out of cards. I think they are too. They might actually just not have... Or maybe, I guess to be fair, it's not really beneficial to use Koga while Weezing's at full. So they must have drawn both their Kogas late after we KO'd the first one. The first Weezing, that is. But, yeah, no, they can Arbok here if they'd like to, but it's not going to be enough to KO Nidoqueen, and we can just KO on the crackback. Although I think they do use a Sabrina here, because I remember finishing this game with Nidoking, and I can't think of another reason why I would here. Yeah, they do use Sabrina. Also, the spoiler I was trying to avoid from earlier is that we did actually Love Strike for 130 in all 3 of these games, so that's pretty cool. I didn't even have to play a ton of games. I think I played maybe a total of like 10 games to get these 3 solid wins. Alright, we're going to Poison Horn. And that is going to be enough for lethal straight up. Again, there's 90 up front, and then the Poison will deal 10 during the end of the turn. So there goes the Arbok, and that is going to be our last win. Oof, 22-turn game. You're definitely going to see me screenshot this one. Ah, such a good battle there. But thanks, as always, for checking out these games and these deck profiles. I do play more competitive decks, too. If you're interested in seeing, like, Pikachu and Mewtwo EX builds, I definitely have those, among many other Pokemon Pocket deck profiles and Illustrals, if you're into that, here on the channel. So definitely feel free to sub if you are interested. But that's going to go ahead and do it for this one. This is XLex. Thanks for watching. I'm signing out and hoping you have a fantastic day.